Hey there, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like no matter how much money you earn, it still doesn't feel enough? Or maybe you have seen someone earning less than you, but living a more peaceful and secure life. If you really think about it, money is not just about number, it is about behavior. And that is exactly what this book, The Psychology of Money, tries to explain. Not how to get rich quickly, but how to think about money in a way that actually works in a real life. So just relax and listen slowly because the truth is, financial success is not about intelligence, it is about behavior, and behavior is something we rarely talk about. Think about it. Two people can earn the same salary. One becomes wealthy, the other stays stressed. Why? Because money decisions are not made on a spreadsheet, they are made in emotions. The book starts with a very simple idea. Everyone has a different story with money. The way you grew up, the things you saw your parents do, the struggles you faced, all of that shape how you think about money today. So when someone says this is the best way to invest, it might be true for them, but not necessarily for you because we don't make financial decisions in isolation. We make them based on our experiences. And that is why comparing yourself with other is dangerous because you don't know their story. Slowly, the book brings another powerful idea. Saving money is not just about income, it is about control. There are people who earn a lot but spend even more, and there are people who earn average but quietly build wealth over time because they understand one simple thing: wealth is what you don't see. It is not the car, not the phone, not the lifestyle. It is the money that is saved, invested, and not touched. But this is where it becomes difficult because sowing money is easy, but keeping money is hard. We live in a world where spending gets attention, but saving feels invisible. So many people chase a lifestyle instead of building stability, and slowly, without realizing, they get stuck. Now, think about this for a moment. Why do we really want money? Not just to buy things, but to feel secure, to have freedom, to have control over our time. And that leads to one of the most beautiful idea in this book. The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up and say, I can do what I want today. This is real freedom. Not being forced to work, not being dependent, not feeling trapped. And that kind of freedom does not come from luck, it comes from consistency. The book talks a lot about time because time is the most powerful factor in money. Not talent, not timing, not even high returns, just time. Imagine this. Some people invest a small amount but does it consistently for many years. Another person invests a big amount but starts late. Who wins? Usually the one who stay consistent longer because compounding needs one thing: patience. But patience is difficult because we live in a world of quick result. We want fast growth, fast success, fast money, but because of that, we take risks we don't understand. We follow trends, we chase shortcuts, we ignore basics, and slowly we lose more than we gain. The book gently reminds us good investing is not about doing brilliant things. It is about avoiding big mistake. And that is very calming thought. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be reasonable, consistent, and patient. Another deep idea is about risk. Most people think risk means losing money, but real risk is something else. It is when you don't understand what you are doing. It is when you depend on luck. It is when you believe things will always go right. Because life doesn't work like that. There will be ups and downs. Market will rise and they will fall. But if your mindset is strong, you stay calm because you are not reacting to noise. You are following a process. And that is what separates people who grow wealth from people who keep starting over. Now let's talk about something very real. Enough. How much is enough? Because many people never ask this question. They keep chasing more money, more success, more everything. But without defining enough, you can never feel satisfied. And that's become dangerous because then no amount of money feels sufficient. The book says a powerful thought here. If you risk what you have for some things you don't need, that is not a smart, that is ego. And ego is one of the biggest enemy of financial peace because it pushes you to prove instead of protect. Slowly, the book brings everything together. Money is not about being rich, it is about being in control. It is about having options. It is about reducing stress. And most importantly, it is about living life on your own terms. So instead of asking, how can I become rich? Maybe a better question is, how can I become financial peaceful? Because peace lasts longer than excitement. As you think about all this, just pause for a moment. Look at your own life, the way you spend, the way you save, the way you think about money. Are your decisions coming from clarity or from pressure? Are you building something slowly or chasing something quickly? Because in the end, money is not just about what you earn, it is about how you behave. And that behavior quietly shapes your entire future. So take a moment and think, are you already building your financial life with patience? Or are you still waiting for a perfect time to start?